Thank you to all the witnesses for being here. If there's no objection, I'd like to put into the record a letter sent from this committee back in 2018 to the chairman of the FCC requesting that Sinclair Broadcasting licenses be reviewed because in the minds of the 12 Democrats, including 2 on this committee, felt that Sinclair was perpetuating misinformation. So we'll put that into the record, which I find, given the conversations around Commissioner Carr, I find that decently ironic. Mr. Volk,
I just make a.
we can do it then. You have your time. So, Mr. Volk, you mentioned that you came to the U.S. 50 years ago. We, to this day, congratulations. I came to America a little bit more than 50 years ago, which I hate to actually say in public testimony because it makes me feel old. How many TV stations, you probably like me had to learn English watching TV. How many TV stations and news information sources were there back then?
So I do remember
the button. I'm sorry. You have to hit the button so you can hear you.
Button. Sorry. When we came to LA, I think there were maybe 6 or 7 VHF, and then if I twiddled the antenna right, I could get like 4 or 5 UHF.
Did you listen to a lot of podcasts?
I believe that I was not allowed to listen to podcasts in 1975.
It didn't exist. It didn't exist.
Exactly.
Did you go online and get sources from online sources?
No.
Did you go on X or Facebook or Twitter? Did you open TikTok?
I did not.
Facebook, Instagram? None of that existed because I just find
better
it,
now.
I just find it interesting that my colleagues are talking about how broadcast TV and monopolism, Mr. Kimmelman, you talked about that, which I thought was just fascinating, that there's all of a sudden this lack of resources to find information when there's never been more ways to get information than there is today. But Mr. Kimmelman, I have a question for you. You're over at the Harvard School, is that correct?
At the Kennedy School, yes.
The Kennedy School? So you would agree with all of us, I think, that free speech is important. You would agree with George Washington's comment that if freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent, we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. You would agree with that, right?
Certainly.
What are you doing about Harvard's F rating for free speech?
I'm a fellow at the Kennedy School. I have a very...
No, I mean, have you spoken to your colleagues? Have you made a protest? Have you rallied the students to say, how do we get rid of this F rating? I mean, I can't imagine Harvard students would find it objectionable to have an F in anything. What are you doing about fixing Harvard?
There's a lot of discussion I know around me about trying to make sure there's an open environment for learning.
But they have an F rating, just to be clear. They have an F rating. Harvard University has an F rating in free speech, and you're here giving us lectures on free speech. Doesn't exactly ring very hollow. Mr. Berenson, quick question for you. We need to put on a record, what was the outrageous things that you said in 2021 that got you thrown off Twitter? I mean, were you planning to overthrow the United States government? Were you creating a militia? Like, give me an example. Give me a flavor of the outrageous things that you must have said.
The tweet that got me banned from Twitter on August 28th, 2021 began, "It doesn't stop infection or transmission." Yes.
Are you saying that a mask, a cloth mask, does not stop the spread of COVID? How dare you say those kinds of outrageous comments?
I said that the mRNA vaccine did not stop infection or transmission.
And did it?
I mean, I think I might be the only person in this room who wasn't vaccinated with the mRNA vaccine, and we all got COVID.
Did the vaccine stop the
spread? No, of course not.
So you were allowed to be wrong, but you were right. Does that make it? Now, what accountability has been in place for that? Like, who has been held accountable for this?
Well, Twitter actually admitted that they shouldn't have done that.
No, they admitted it. But what accountability? Because that cost you money. That cost you direct money in your pocketbook. What accountability has been put in place?
There's been none. I mean, more important than accountability, I didn't get to tell people what I thought. And there were, I mean, I was getting hundreds of millions of views a month. People wanted to hear what I thought, and the Biden administration didn't like it, and they forced Twitter to ban me. And I will also say it is outrageous.
So you're saying the United States government, elected officials who swore an oath to the Constitution, told private media companies to terminate your account, which cost you your money. I assume you're not naturally wealthy from 5 generations of wealth, and that you actually have to work for a living. And that ability to earn an income was taken away from you because you dared to have an opinion on a vaccine?
I regard it as more important that I wasn't able to say what I thought. The money matters less to me. And I also have to say this. Pfizer made $100 billion selling that vaccine, and Pfizer officials cooperated or collaborated with the Biden administration. It is a scandal.
Yeah.
Let me just say one thing. If I had been reporting on plane crashes and Boeing had colluded with the Biden administration or the Trump administration, it would be a national scandal that a Boeing official had leaned on a social media company.
Yeah, totally.
But Pfizer somehow got away with this.
Yeah, and her opening statement, the ranking member talked extensively about protecting free speech, but then stated she wasn't referring to hate speech. I think what maybe my colleagues mean to say is speech that they hate.
That's right.
Because it's hate speech is in the eye of the beholder. Would you agree, Mr. Davis?
I completely agree. Hate speech, misinformation, disinformation, they're just fancy words that people use to shut down speech they don't like.
Right. So if I say that there's only such thing as a man and a woman, that maybe when I got to the U.S. 50 plus years ago, somebody would have said, why did you say that? Like, obviously, there's only men and women. I come from a culture where our entire language is male or female. But that could be considered hate speech, right, if I say that?
It was for a long time. If you said that on Twitter for several years, you ran the risk of being censored, shadow banned, or permanently suspended.
Well, obviously, we'll talk more about this topic. I do find it interesting that my colleagues who were totally and completely complicit during the Biden era, that were absolutely applauding people being thrown off social media, that were saying that any commentary about a Hunter Biden laptop story being misinformation was considered an insurrectionist, that now all of a sudden clutch their pearls because a moronic second-rate comedian who makes $16 million a year got fired from his job for having atrocious ratings is somehow now an attack on free speech. I don't know that they have the moral high ground here, but thank you for your testimony, and I recognize Senator from Nevada.